And this morning we're looking into natural ways in dealing with pregnancy from a natural perspective. And I've got Richard Mutingwende in the studio this morning. It's a lovely Sunday, Richard. How are you doing this Sunday?
I'm good. How are you, Carlton? Good to be here again on this lovely program.
Yes, indeed. As we always seek solutions to different health ailments from a natural perspective. Now, Richard, let's talk about the natural ways in dealing with pregnancy. Pregnancy is always an issue, and complications at times they do arise, and fatalities at times. So let's talk about how do we deal with natural ways in dealing with pregnancy. So the first question that I'll pose to you is, what are some of the common ailments to expect when someone is pregnant? What are some of the common ailments to expect when someone is pregnant?
There are so many common ailments that women goes through during pregnancy. Things to do with nausea or vomiting. Some they call it morning sickness, although it can strike at any time of the day. Then constipation is another ailment which can also affect pregnant women, especially on the first stages of pregnancy. Then there's issue of heartburn. Is also another common ailment, and also hemorrhoids or piles. It normally affects during the second stage of pregnancy. Then women may experience fatigue or lack of energy during pregnancy, and sometimes they may experience headaches, especially the chronic headaches, and insomnia, some difficulties in falling asleep, and sometimes they may experience anemia, which is a shortage of blood, and some may experience stretch marks on the belly. So these are some of the most common ailments that women faces during pregnancy.
Okay, great. Let's just take a look at what stage of pregnancy can someone expect these ailments, and what natural solutions can be available for the women.
Basically, there are three stages during pregnancy. There's the first trimester, which runs up to 13 weeks, 6 days. This one is characterized by nausea or vomiting. And as I've said, it's commonly referred as morning sickness, though it can strike in the afternoon or in the evening or any time of the day. And this morning sickness is very uncomfortable and quite distressing. It's actually a sign that a fetus or a baby is developing in a healthy way. But if you are one of the few pregnant women who doesn't experience this symptom, you have to consider yourself lucky. You don't have to be alarmed. And it's very easy to deal with nausea, especially when we look at natural solutions. You simply need ginger. Ginger is quite effective in dealing with nausea because ginger contains oleoresin. It's a chemical compound that we find in ginger. It's an anti-nausea compound. It's quite effective, and ginger also contains a compound called gingerol, which we discussed the last time, that is a very powerful natural antibiotic for the tonsillitis. So to deal with nausea, just to try ginger, you simply need 3 centimeters of ginger. Then you boil with 4 cups of water. You add some honey to make it taste. Then you consume it throughout the day. Alternatively, you can make use of chamomile tea. It's very effective. It's very affordable. Then you can also consume foods that are rich in proteins. Proteins can help to ease morning sickness. Things like chicken, poultry products like eggs, they are so good to deal with the nausea. And in terms of drinks or fluids, you need to take a plenty of water. Some they try to substitute water with other fizzy drinks. They actually have an opposite effect because they have some diuretic effect. You actually dehydrate your body if you consume such fluids. So the best fluid that you can take if you are pregnant is water. Then another common ailment that we find in the first stage, in the first trimester, is fatigue or lack of energy. This is one of the most common symptoms during pregnancy. And with this one, you simply need to allocate yourself time to rest. I normally say resting is not laziness, it's actually medicine. Because what happens during pregnancy, there are some hormonal changes like the rise in progesterone. This may likely cause to cause your body to feel weak, especially during the night or even during the day. You also need to take some exercises, at least about 30 minutes per day, just walking about 30 minutes a day. This can also relieve this fatigue. Then in terms of diet, to deal with the fatigue, you need food that is rich in fiber. Things like fruits, they are very good. You also need carbohydrates, such as whole grains. You also need to reduce stress. I know it's not so easy to reduce stress, but spending time on things that you find relaxing is very good. It can help to deal with fatigue. So the first trimester, which is 13 weeks, 6 days, it's characterized by nausea, it's vomiting, and fatigue or lack of energy. Then comes to the second trimester, which begins from 14 weeks to 27 weeks, 6 days. This one is very common to experience things like constipation during this stage. There are a number of causes, but mostly it's as a result of some hormonal changes. So what you need to do is simply to keep your body hydrated. Just take at least 2 liters of water per day. In natural medicine, water is actually medicine. We call it hydrotherapy. Is quite effective not only for those who are pregnant, but for the general health. Water is always good in terms of flushing some toxins. Besides water, you can consume foods that are rich in water, such as cucumber. Cucumber contains up to 96% of water. Then the rest are minerals and vitamins. You can also take watermelons. They contain up to 92% of water, and they are very effective in dealing with constipation. So it's always good to keep your body hydrated to avoid constipation. Not only for constipation, but it can also prevent things like uterine irritability and cramps. So you need to eat food that is rich in fiber. You need plenty of water on this second trimester. You also need foods such as avocados. They are rich in fiber. You need berries. Foods like oatmeal is also good, and also carrots and fruits. Then the last stage is the third trimester, which runs from 28 weeks to 37 weeks, or through labor. That's the final stage. This one is characterized by heartburn. It's very common, especially when you reach this stage. And heartburn, it's usually a sign of poor digestion. So you need to consume foods that doesn't have acids, like the fizzy drinks. They are not good because they actually cause the accumulations of acids. And you need a bit of water. You need to consume water to deal with things like heartburn. And after eating, you don't have to lie down. At least you have to wait for about 60 minutes or so that you give yourself time to digest food before you lie down. The moment you eat, then after a few minutes you lie down, it may cause some problems to do with heartburn. Then there's this stage, this third stage. There's this common ailment, or let me call it, it's not an ailment as such, but it's called the Braxton Hicks contractions. These contractions, they are often painless, and you may experience them towards the end of the third trimester. It only shows that the baby or the uterus is practicing labor. So you don't have to be worried or to be scared of this. The uterus tightens for about 30 to 60 seconds, although it's painless. These Braxton Hicks contractions may be quite uncomfortable, and sometimes it's difficult to distinguish them from the true labor contractions. So you don't have to get worried during this time. Then there are other common ailments. This can happen at any time. Things like hemorrhoids that I've mentioned, the piles. To deal with piles, you have to increase the intake of vitamins. We get vitamins from fruits such as oranges. We get from kiwi fruits, bell pepper. This can help to treat and prevent hemorrhoids. Then you can also have swollen feet. Most women, they feel swelling on their feet, and sometimes you simply need to consume foods that are rich in proteins, and also you need water, a blend of water, at least 2 liters of water per day. Then to deal with swollen feet, you simply need foods that are rich in vitamin B6, such as the vegetables. You need whole grains like brown rice. You also need poultry products such as eggs, they are good, or chicken, or even tech meat. It contains vitamin B6. And you can simply elevate your feet and get some massage. Someone can simply massage your feet, especially at night before bed. Your partner can simply massage your feet so that you get a relief from swollen feet. And the other thing is stretch marks. You find them on the belly. You simply need to apply coconut oil or linseed. Some they call it flax seed oil. You can apply it on your belly. Then there's anemia, which is a shortage of blood. It's likely to be experienced as well. Mostly you see some pregnant women craving for that end hill soil or some dried mud. They are trying to supplement for iron. So you simply need to switch on to food such as spinach. It's very rich in iron to deal with anemia, which is a shortage of blood. You also need red meat. It's also good. It's rich in iron. Then there's insomnia, which is a disorder in sleeping. Sometimes you may have some problems getting asleep due to some hormonal changes. This can happen at any time of the pregnancy. So you try to sleep on your left side to improve the blood flow and also the flow of nutrients to your fetus or to your baby, and also the flow of nutrients all over the body. So try to sleep with your left side, and also try to allocate yourself time to exercise, especially during the day, so that when at night you can easily fall asleep. Then there's headache, which is another common ailment. Sometimes it might be a chronic headache. All these are mostly caused by changes in hormones, especially the progesterone. So to deal with the headache, you simply have to keep your body hydrated, take plenty of water, and also avoid things like caffeine, things like sweet foods like sweets, or foods that processed food, they are not good. Try to limit things like fried foods, because all these foods, they can cause an inflammation or pain. And you simply need to exercise, as I've said, at least 30 minutes per day. It can also help a lot, not only for the headache, but for your general health.
Interesting information from a natural perspective, natural ways in dealing with pregnancy, and again, maybe re-emphasize again the issues of exercise, because I see that a lot of women, they don't really do exercises at all, so especially when they are pregnant.
Yes, exercising doesn't mean you have to strain your body. You can simply walk just for about 30 minutes per day. It's enough. It's a good exercise. Not only for pregnant women, but for everyone. It's good for your general health.
Okay. Right, great. Nice one. So we're just looking at the natural ways in dealing with pregnancy. Richard, maybe details, contacts, I'm sure there are one or two people. They might want to pass on the message to somebody else who maybe was not listening to the radio. It's quite a number of people that say, I don't listen to the radio, quite very ignorant.
That's true.
Yeah, and radio, you buy your radio set just once and you never buy it again. So which means radio is the cheapest mode of in terms of communication, because we seek to educate, inform, and also at the same time entertain. Right, your good details, your numbers.
My phone number is 0772 119 912. 0772 119 912.
What are we looking at for next Saturday?
Next Sunday, we are going to look.
Sunday,
yeah. We are going to look at hypertension and diabetes. Most people, they think hypertension and diabetes are diseases. They are actually symptoms of an underlying health condition.
Okay.
So we are going to explain the true cause or the root cause of hypertension and diabetes. Finding the true cause is one of the basic principles in natural medicine. So we are going to explain the natural ways to address the root causes, and also some lifestyle changes, because our body is not meant to rely on medicines or drugs, but we have to deal with these issues once and for all.
Okay. Right, great. Thanks a lot to you, Richard Mutingwende, for coming through. On the Health Box, we're dealing with natural ways in dealing with pregnancy, and we took a look at this morning about the common ailments to expect when someone is pregnant, and the natural solutions to those problems. So you can always get in touch with Richard for finer details. Thank you so much for coming to this morning, Richard. It's a Sunday. You're going to church this morning?
Yes, as usual, I will pass through a church service, then yes. I will rest in the afternoon, because resting is actually
very important. Yeah, there's some people who never rest, and I think I'm falling into that category, which is very dangerous indeed. All right, thank you so much for coming through this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, as we play another beautiful piece, thanks for listening to this very important program called The Health Box. This morning we're looking into natural ways in dealing with pregnancy. So you can all get in touch with Richard for finer details. But good morning.